Before we start playing with rational exponents, I want to remind you guys a few quick things that we have covered before. Any number under the square root is equal to that number to the power half. Any number under the cubic root is equal to that same number to the power third. Any number to the fourth root is equal to that number to the power fourth. So any number under the nth root is equal to that same number to the power 1 over n. You can always check these with the calculator and see if it will give you the same values. I'm sure it will, but if you're doubting it, feel free to check. Also, any number under the square root to the power x is equal to the same number to the power x divided by 2. Any number under the cubic root to the power z equals that same base to the power z divided by 3. Any number under the fourth root to the power 6 is equal to that same number to the power 6 over 4. Okay, you can always simplify the powers. So the general rule is any number or expression to the power m under the nth root equals to the same number or expression to the power m over n. Again, this applies to numbers and expressions. What I mean by expressions is, could be the square root of 63 n squared, y to the 4th, z cubed. That means everything under the root to the power, since this is a square root, it means 2 will be to the power half. Also, the square root of a number squared is just the number itself. Because since it's the square root, that means you're dividing the power by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is just a 1. Cubic root of x cubed is x, and so forth. So the nth root of x to the n is just x. Now, let's play a little bit with how to simplify radicals in a very simple way. When you have a radical, in this case it's the square root, but it could be any root, but in this case it's the square root. We're looking at the positive and negative values of an expression. This is the same as saying that I need the positive and negative square root of 16 times the positive and negative square root of x to the 8th. So you can do it separately, the numbers by themselves and the expressions by themselves. Now you can use a calculator for that. So the square root of 16 is 4. And since we're looking for positive and negative, we positive and negative. Okay, because we know that 4 times itself 2 times is 16. Again, 4 times itself, 2 times is 16. Now, here, we need to evaluate that expression. So we're going to say it's x to the 8th. Now, we reviewed a minute ago that a square root means this expression is to the power half. So, half of 8 is 4. So this is equal to x to the 4th. So the answer is plus or minus 4x to the 4th. Now it's your turn. Find the negative root of 36 y to the 10th z to the 4th. Okay, let's simplify a little bit more challenging expressions. If I have an expression included inside parentheses, all to the power, then I can treat that expression just like how I treat my variables. So, I'm looking for the negative root of q to the 3rd plus 5 all to the power 4. So this can be written as negative q to the 3rd plus 5 all to the 4th all to the half. Again, this is a second root, square root, so it's all to the power half. The negative is not included because the negative is outside the root. So this is equal to, looking at my powers, half of 4, or 4 times half, is a 2. We're going to get negative q to the 3rd plus 5 all squared. You can leave the answer as it is unless you are required to simplify more or to expand the expression. But for now, this is the right answer. Now it's your turn. Find the positive and negative square root of z to the 6th y plus 4 or to the power 10. Okay, hopefully you guys are getting good at it. So let's play with another form of root, different than the square root. Let's play with the 5th root. Again, all the rules apply to all kinds of root. So this time we're dealing with the 5th root. That means this expression is the same as 243 a to the 10th b to the 15th all to the power, I'm dealing with the nth root, my n is a 5, so this is to the power 1/5. Okay? So, this is equals to 243 to the power 1/5 times a to the 10th all to the power 1/5 times b to the 15th all to the power 1/5. Okay, so I distributed my power. Again, notice between the numbers and variables, it's times. If there was a plus or minus anywhere, this does not apply. So the power gets distributed to each of the constants and variables if and only if they're multiplied together. Okay? Now you can solve this using a calculator. You can solve the number part using the calculator. You can either plug in 243 to the power 1/5 or simply just plug in the 5th root of 243 and the answer is 3. Now, a to the 10th or to the 1/5, that means it's 10 divided by 5, which is 2. b to the 15th, 1/5 of 15 is 3. And that's your answer. Now, it's your turn. Find the 6th root Okay, one more quick review. What is the square root of negative 4? Now, remember, if my n is an even number, so if n is an even number, square root, 4th root, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and so forth, I cannot have a negative under the root. Because that means I have imaginary number. We called it I. So this is equal to the square root of a 4 times the square root of a negative 1, which is my I. So this is equal to square root of 4 is a 2 times I, which is just 2I. But also the square root of a 4 could also equal negative 2. So the answer is 2I or negative 2I, which are imaginary numbers. So no real numbers. Okay. Now it's your turn. Evaluate the 4th root of negative 81. So evaluate the 4th root of negative 81. Okay, one last example. Let's simplify. We are looking for the negative square root of a to the 3rd, or a cubed, plus 2 all to the power 8. Again, since I'm dealing with square root, that means my a cubed plus 2 all to the 8th, they all have the power of half. Again, the second root means half. Now, what's half of 8? 4. So this is equal to negative, again, my expression stays the same, all to the power 4. Now you should be ready for the next lesson.